We've touched a bit about sort of the volume of data that does exist, so the discrepancies and incoherences on the data sets, the lack of consistency given jurisdictions, given the opaqueness of the worlds in which many of these people are trapped. From where you sit, I mean, you're part of this global data partnership against forced labor. What are the technologies? What are the kinds of tactics and tools that we have now to fix this?
Absolutely. And I think, first of all, I am so proud to be a part of the partnership, and I'm so glad and grateful to the WEF for prioritizing this launch this year. It has been a real existential threat across the globe. Modern slavery, it is the challenge of our time. And it's important that in a community like the WEF, we bring this to the forefront, and it's at the center stage of the issues that we're talking about. So I'm just so grateful to be a part of this. The second thing is, I mean, what Exiger does, what we do is we're the largest supply chain visibility and risk management technology company in the world. We are building data sets and developing artificial intelligence to give our customers visibility to their supply chains. Now, why are we doing that? Well, in some instances, it's to save cost, right? So we have many customers like Oshkosh and Raytheon and others that look for opportunities to save cost in their supply chain. In other cases, it's to add resilience. So we have customers like Schneider Electric that have used our technology to build better cyber capabilities throughout their OT environment. And then we also have customers that look to manage compliance, and that is where the modern slavery aspect of supply chain visibility comes about. And where Exiger really differentiates ourselves is we're not just a data company, we're not just a software company, we're not just a services company. Think of us as the hospital for your supply chains. We're helping to rehabilitate the supply chain. And so the way that we think about it is we provide the data and diagnostics. And this problem of data is a huge one. We spend over $50 million a year creating and purchasing premium data from customs brokers, from corporate registries, from global premium data providers, to build that all into a data network that is canonical and well organized. The second thing is we put that into software so that you can actually interact with it and you can work with it, right? And so if you think about it, it's kind of like having the oximeter, and then the software is the doctor. But then you've had a heart attack, now you have to rehabilitate. And that's where our expertise in software helps our customers to then rehabilitate these supply chains. But one of the things that's been a driver for our business, and just to give you a sense of this, over the last 5 years, we've grown at an 89% compound annual growth rate. Right? And we were a big business 5 years ago. And a lot of that has been driven by compliance regulation in modern slavery. A lot of that has been driven by the demand for visibility across CSDDD, which is the new corporate sustainability directive in the EU. A lot of that is driven by the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act. A lot of that is driven by the Canadian forced labor bans, the UK forced labor bans. People are trying to get visibility to their supply chains in order to be compliant, right? And I think the big thing here is what we've realized over the last year is that the data is not getting out and is not being distributed far and wide enough. Our customers have access to it. They can see where there are challenges in their supply chain. But we talk about this number of 27 million, and we say, okay, in the total sort of global scope, in comparison or in ratio to the total global population, sounds like a small number. But 37 companies were flagged by the CBP just last week for utilizing forced labor, for utilizing modern slavery. And in our data set, we saw 13.1 million purchases from companies using those supply chains across our globe. 13.1 million purchases. We saw 88,000 companies, some of which made the garments sitting on your back today, that are using these supply chains. So we think of supply chains as triangles. They have, one supplier at the top, and then there are 1,000 suppliers at the bottom. They're actually diamonds. We have these core dependencies, and guess what? A lot of them are using modern slavery. A lot of them are abusing for the purposes of economic coercion or just because they can. They're abusing these people, not only in forced labor, but we've had instances where we've worked with NGOs and freed people from slavery, and 13-year-old girls are working in textile factories during the day and then being sexually abused for money at night. And so this is an existential threat for us. And so what we want to do in this data partnership is we want to expose this data to the world and make it so that NGOs, public-private partnerships, and corporations can have a view of this top-down view of the supply chain that we're creating, and have it at no cost. We want to make this so that this is something that, where we're giving these insights into modern slavery, but not creating all of these barriers to visibility that commercial enterprise has. Because supply chain visibility, it'll decrease risk, increase resilience, and reduce costs no matter what. And so if we can make it so we're freeing slaves and not taking the economic advantage of that, I think that's a huge win for the world.